welcome to the Ill Noise Business Playbook. I'm here with Dianne from Sacred Light Integrations. Dianne, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing better now. I'm doing great. It's a wonderful day. Dianne, I certainly want to get into your business and what all the wonderful things you're doing out there. But one of the benefits of what we do here is we ask for folks to send us pictures before we start these interviews. And it's kind of easy to see sometimes what people are passionate about, and sometimes it's not so easy. It's a little easy to figure out something you might like out there. So can you share a little bit about what that is?
I love exploring out in nature. I just love getting on the road and going on road trips and exploring all the great parks we have around here in our community. And it's wonderful to meet people while I'm out there and just enjoy nature. It's very revitalizing. It's very energizing for me. It's very healing. So I'm usually out
Absolutely.
and about.
Right. Well, next nature walk now, and I'll see if we can see you out there along the way.
Perfect.
Well, again, I was kind of also referencing this before we started. You definitely do something a little bit different than what I've had the opportunity to interview for on this channel, and I love it. So, can you please share with us what you do and what inspired you to do what you're doing?
Okay, two-part question there. So first off, Sacred Light Integrations shines a light for others to discover what is truly possible. We all come to crossroads in our lives where we're just like we have either physical problems and our health is not very well, or we have the emotional reactions and we're constantly reacting to everything that's happening in our life, or we started a business and that's not going as smoothly as we've liked. Yet the common thread is us. Where have we come from to get us where we are right now? Everything that we do in our life is based off of the programming, the blueprint, the database of things that have happened in our life to this point in time. So while many of us, we can focus on the physical, if we're having like a physical challenge, we can go to the doctor, we can try different medications, and we can do all the things in the physical world. Yet Sacred Light Integrations looks at the energy behind it. We look at the blueprint behind what's going on in a physical life. So if you have a business that's maybe struggling, we go in and we look at maybe the limiting beliefs behind it. We may have the more conscious thoughts, but we all know that 95% of our thoughts are based off of 95% of that subconscious things in our mind. We have so much of our actions are based off of automatic programming. We don't consciously think about our day. We usually just go about our day through a rote pattern. And so here we go in and look at the patterns that may not be suiting us. So we want a different result in our life. We need to go back and look at the patterns to kind of fix and adjust those and remove any energetic distortions so we can move forward more smoothly in life. So how I got here is I had a messed up life.
Wait, did you have my life? Go ahead, Dianne.
Yeah, well, we all have our challenges. Mine started as a young adult. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder. And of course, if you're in the world of Western medicine, you kind of go in that spiral. And I was diagnosed with a second autoimmune disorder. And I quit counting at 15 surgeries because when you've had 15 surgeries, you just quit counting. I had so many medical problems. But then you have medications that cause more problems. And it was just that spiral. Well, the tipping point was when a doctor offered to take my case before a national board. I was down to 90 pounds. I wasn't able, mine were all digestive issues, which we won't go into, but they couldn't figure out what was wrong. So he took my case before a national board of doctors and he came back and he says, it was a consensus. We all agreed. And I'm like, great, they figured it out. And the next the words out of his mouth were forever branded in my memory. He said, we all agreed. We don't know what is wrong with you and we don't know how to fix you. So at that point in time, I walked away from Western medicine. Was just like they'd had 25 years to figure me out and they had not done it. And that was a big hit. When we trust, our society believes you go to a doctor to get better. And that had not happened. So fortunately, a few months after that, by fate, by chance, by coincidence, whatever you want to call it, I attended a class called Start Your New Year Aligned because it's the beginning of the year. And I'm like, that sounds pretty good because I need that. And so the teacher started talking about how we're all energy bodies as well as having a physical body. And it was if a blanket came off my face, right? Like, that's right. Back in 5th or 6th grade, we're reminded or we're taught everything's energy. And although we perceive, the world around us through our senses, our 5 physical senses, there's a whole nother layer of energy that we can interact with that's non-physical energy. And just to throw out a statistic, of all of the energy that impacts our energy body, we only perceive 5%. So there's a lot of energy that's impacting us that we're not even aware of. So if you have physical problems, if you have these emotional reactions, if your business isn't going the way it is, you can do all of the stuff that you want in the physical world, But more than likely, there's some things in that energetic version of us, in that blueprint, and that programming that's causing our life to be the way it is. So I dove into all of the things energy. I began to study shamanism. I got into the Chinese healing modalities. I did Reiki, essential oils, acupuncture, yoga, meditation, any of those things that you've heard about, tapping, cranial sacral therapy, Zen shiatsu. I went in and tried all of that stuff. And in that exploration, I healed myself in less than a year.
Beautiful.
In less than a year. I woke up and I woke up one day and I did the one thing they tell us not to do. I was still taking the supplements and medications. I wasn't on that many, but I was still on some, just trying to maintain that they'd given me. And so I took the bag and I went like this, and I took it up to the drugstore and I pitched it, and I never looked back. And so that's how Sacred Light got started. Needed to share what I had learned with other people. So I did take the next 6 months to figure out, because I had done it and I knew I had been doing all these things, but I didn't know how I did it. How did I just heal myself? So I went in and I began to research about vibrational medicine, about energy healing, about the alternative healing modalities. How does all this work at a conceptual scientific level? Because I needed that. I needed to understand the how behind it. So I went back and did that and started my business to share it with other people.
And how do you share that with folks? What are ways that you kind of get the word out about what you're doing and kind of help share all the wonderful things that you're doing?
Yes, I'm on a few different platforms for different spiritual platforms, Oracle and Arwell. I have a YouTube channel that I have videos on there, little tips and tools for people to get started.
Nice.
On my website, I have different classes that I did for a long time, and then I took a break, and now I'm getting back into doing that because I know there's a real need right now for people to understand this other part of them. So I teach classes through that. I do have on my website for free, and hopefully we can put a link in there where people can check out my website, that it's about energy basics. We've all heard about aromatherapy and reflexology. We've heard of all this stuff, but how does it work? So it's an hour and 26 minutes, but it's worth your time. It's just me talking about all of that stuff that I learned on how I heal myself.
Are
But
you
it's a,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, it's just that that's how people can understand it at a more conceptual level the way I did.
Nice. And how, do you go to are you going to different networking events? You going to different? I know that Neha had mentioned some sort of a medical convention and stuff. Are you trying to get yourself out to as many of those places as possible?
I am now. I'm not in the past. Like I stay pretty busy with most of my clients now are word of mouth.
Okay.
Somebody tells a friend, tells a friend, tells a friend. But as I mentioned, I really feel like right now there's a real need for education about this other part of us, because people don't know what they don't know. And I really would like to get out more in the community to start sharing that information. So again, like I said, I started teaching classes on my website again and through Eventbrite. And if the community wants me out and about to hear about what it is, then invite me.
There you All right, all right. How do obviously when it comes to this type of medicine, everything's always changing, right? And there's always different ways in which that we can heal ourselves. So what sort of future trends do you anticipate coming up, and how do you plan on deal with any of those future trends in the industry?
Well, hopefully integrative medicine. But there is a time and a place for, of course, Western medicine. But there's a vast amount of knowledge, and their hearts are in the right place. Yet integrative medicine, there's so much people can do for themselves on this side of it. So to integrate the two is where the future trend is going to be. And I'm excited for that trend. And where I come into play, like I said, is I walk that journey. I walk that path. And I want to use what I learned to educate people to like tell them what's out there and what available things they can do, that they can still take their prescription medicines or still do their daily routines. But here are some things that you may want to introduce to yourself. And where I come into play is a lot is my strength is I can look into the energy field and tell them what's most aligned for them. Because when you start diving into this energy stuff, you get all excited. You're just like, I want to try reflexology. I want to try this, this, and this. Yet I can go in and kind of tap into their energy field and tell them what's most aligned for them and where they're going to get the most bang for their quote buck. But there is so much you can do for free. You don't have to spend a ton of money to get started. And that's what I love about it is you can start some simple things for free, like meditation, yoga, stretching, all the simple things. So
I think it's really powerful what you say too, that it's not like people have to disengage from any sort of medical support that they're currently using, that this
mhm,
is actually can be used in conjunction to kind of get better results based on what
absolutely.
you're talking about, right? You seem like you're going to have a nice story for me, so I'm going to tee you up good here, Diane. Tell me about somebody you've helped. Tell me about other than yourself here. Tell me about a moment of success you've had while you've been doing this, and something that makes you feel extremely proud and keeps you going every single solitary day.
Well, I will tell you, I mean, every time I'm with a client, the light bulb goes off for them when they get it, when they understand, when their life gets better. That's a success for me. Every single one. The one though that I will take an extra minute to share with, to, to show like the power of this stuff. I had a client once, and I tapped into her energy, and I saw something go like right through her neck, and it was across her body. I just saw like a red line in her energy field. And I'm just like, I think, energetically this needs to be removed. So we energetically removed that. And I was talking to her, she was through it, and she's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I'm like, what's wrong? She goes, I'll be right back. And she came back, and I said, are you okay? Because this energetic work is. And she goes, I had to go show my husband. She had never been able to turn her head inside. When I removed that visual energetic energy through her, that distortion within her, she went and she had to show her husband, because she's like, I didn't know if it was going to go back, but he'd never seen her turn her head past that, like right here, but she went all the way around. So that was, for me, it's great confirmation that what you see and what you're experiencing, what you're sharing with people is very real.
When you are meeting people out there in the community, do you do any sort of quick, you're having quick conversations with folks sometimes, especially when you're at some of these conventions, right? You don't have the opportunity to sit down with them. Hey, let's sit down. Let's kind of get everything worked out. What are just different ways that you're able to just interact with them on a quicker basis to kind of let them know and share what you're doing?
Well, if people have heard of a channel like where you connect in with people's energy and you start sharing information, what they need to know. I noticed that where I met Neha is that at that event, I literally was telling different people different stories and sharing about my business different ways for different people, because we all know that I can say something to you and you're gonna take it differently than another person. So we want to say it to get them to for them to get the most benefit out of it. And so tapping into that channel, because just by tapping into their energy, I would have people spell their names for me.
Okay.
So when you have that moment as people are spelling their names, you can kind of tap into their energy. And that's what was working at the event that I met her at. And that's what's working for me. I could tap into their energy really quick. And then I could start to share with them just a little story, a little 1 or 2 minute blurb that hopefully help their energy and help them move forward on their journey in some way or fashion.
Beautiful. Probably not a lot of Nehas that you met out there, I would assume.
Now,
Diane, what's the best way for people to reach out to you? You've already referenced your YouTube channel. You've referenced your website. What if people want to learn more about what you're doing at Sacred Light? What's the best way for them to reach out to you?
well, Sacred Light, my website and the YouTube channel are probably the best. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram.
Well, listen, Diane, I would be remiss if I didn't say one of my corny jokes here. You've given me some wonderful energy, and I do really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Such a wonderful individual, and I hope that people reach out to you and really learn more about what you're doing. It sounds like you're doing some really wonderful things out there. So thank you so very much for your time today.
Well, thank you for your time and having me on the show. I appreciate it.
You got it. You take care.
You too.